This video, I'm going to be sharing with you the truth on manifestation and sharing with you the huge change we make when we go from creating our own reality to choosing our own reality. This is an absolute game changer and absolutely changed my life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now this video is going to show you exactly how you can move into more of a deep understanding of what's really happening with the mechanics of manifestation and how you can more so embody the way you prefer to be, knowing that the outside reality that you experience is simply a reflection of the inside and the vibration that you are emitting. Now, the difference between creating our own reality and choosing our reality, like I said, it's an absolute game changer. Now, the reason this is because when you begin to understand this concept, this little bit of a difference in our mind, what happens is then it gives you more permission to be the way you prefer to be, and it allows you to make the process easier. Because if we take it beyond that of just the creating our own reality mentality, the law of attraction, we see that it's more so about our beliefs create our reality. If we believe that the process of manifestation is hard or we have to really try, then what we do is we create resistance and we create less believability with what we can do in our life. Now, the idea is to make it very simple and to simplify the whole process, and knowing that it's much easier than we priorly thought it was. It's so much more of a fluid type process, and manifestation is happening whether we are aware of it or not. Whether somebody even knows they're using the law of attraction, manifestation and the law of attraction is already happening in their life. So we can begin to see that the law of attraction is not something you have to try for. It's not something that you have to really hope happens, try, create from scratch. It is something that it's a natural byproduct of something we already do, whether we are aware of it or not. So let's talk about choosing versus creating. Now, creating our own reality. This is the most common saying that we say with the law of attraction, is to create your own reality. And it's not that it's not true, but it's a little bit outdated. And the outdatedness comes from the awareness that how can we create what already exists? Because this is what quantum physics shows us. Quantum physics shows us that the only moment that does exist is this moment right now. Not even, it has to be quantum physics, just you've never experienced the idea of the past, because when it was the past, it was this moment right now. The past only exists in the memory that we have, which is using our brain. Same thing with the future. We can think about the different probabilities of what we can experience. We can use our imagination, which is a part of our brain, to imagine probable futures. But the basis is by the time the future gets here, it'll be this moment right now. Because right now is the only quote-unquote time that does exist. Everything else is a projection of consciousness and is something that we do and use our mind for. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is understanding something quantum physics is showing. That is that we are shifting through different parallel realities. There's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. And what we think of as movement, this is movement right here. This is movement. This is actually the shifting through different parallel realities. Now think of it. Every single little differentiation, every single little difference with what I'm going right here looks to be one fluid frame. We have memory, so I can tag all of them together and go, that's one big movement. But in actuality, if I were to turn around right now in Final Cut Pro and stretch this out, we could break it down into individual frames. Each individual frame is a totally separate parallel reality. And even beyond that, depending on the technology we have, we could keep stretching it out more and more. There's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist, and we are constantly shifting through different parallel realities. Now, the key to this is realizing that any variation of yourself that you can imagine exists in this parallel reality sector and this understanding that it already exists. So there's a version of you that's multi-millionaire, that is chilling with your family on the beach. There's a version of you that is doing something completely different in your life right now. There's a version of you that's on the exact opposite side of that spectrum. There's infinite number of versions of you. So when we say that we must create our own reality, we are implying that the reality that we are going to create doesn't already exist, which means many times that we think we have to build it from scratch. We have to try really hard. We have to put in our effort, and we have to have this belief that it's something that we have to really go for. We have to really try. That makes it harder than it has to be. Manifestation does not have to be so hard. And when we bring it more down to the resonance, to the vibrational resonance of what we want to experience, we can give ourselves more permission right now to be happier and to actually have this process go quicker. Because if we knew that the reality already exists, what could we do? We could more so just embody that vibration right now. Let me ask you a question. What is the best version of you doing right now? What kind of lifestyle do you have? You're like, I've been living in $1 million mansion, the love of my life. I'm going to be traveling the world, doing whatever that vision is for you. Know that already exists. That version of you already exists. Now, here's a little caveat I would add into there, just from knowing and understanding the power of, call it fulfillment, of you actually having, also feeling long-term happiness from it. Sometimes we go straight to the materialistic things in our mind. Immediately, I might imagine myself on a flying first class to some place to give some type of seminar, staying in the best hotel, and then coming back to my mansion here in Vegas. That could be one of the pictures. However, what I would recommend is what you also do is you have it be tied to something that you're actually passionate about, something that you really enjoy doing. Because this is what will thread all of these together. You see, it's more so when it comes to the vibrational resonance of these individual realities, which exists right now. It's about the vibration you would be feeling, the emotion you would be feeling, and that passion will help you to accomplish it much faster than anything else. You see, the materialistic things we can imagine are fleeting. They exist for a period of time. You may have them your whole life, but they aren't actually fulfilling. I'll say that from something of experience as well, because I've become more abundant in the last year than I've ever been before, and I could do pretty much whatever I want within reason. And it doesn't make much difference it's not something that brings long-term happiness. But me making videos, me doing what I love, that brings a lot more happiness. And that's something that fuels me. And I want to put in as much as I can because I love what I do. So what I would encourage you to do is to find out what you're passionate about. And one way you can do that is simply imagine the parallel reality that already exists. So you can start to let go of those beliefs that's so hard, you have to try. It already exists, so you don't have to create it. All you have to do is imagine that version of you, how you would be acting, how you would be feeling, what you would be thinking about, the kind of habits you have, the kind of people you talk to, all of these different characteristics of the reality that already exists right now. Imagine those and simply begin to interpret and start to bring those into your daily life right now. That is as simple as this has to be. So what you could do is you could find ways of embodying that version of you right now. How could you do that? Well, I imagine the version of me that is traveling the world giving seminars. That version of me would have a certain type of habits, would most likely go over the stuff that version of me would be talking about in that kind of seminar, the different kind of scenarios I might be in. I'd have a certain type of daily routine. I'd probably take a cold shower, which I do right now, not actually right now, but before the video, or before I do any type of thing, something that increases my energy. There could be a level of certain type of books I would read, certain type of people I'd reach out to, certain type of things I'd say yes to, if it's like being on someone's podcast or something like that. You see, this is about understanding that version of me's mentality, how that version of me thinks, and choosing to embody it right now. And you see, this is the biggest thing when it comes to parallel realities as well. We can give ourselves permission right now to feel the emotions that we'd be feeling in the reality we can imagine. We can give ourselves permission right now. At a certain level right now, I'm making YouTube videos. I'm doing what I love. I'm sharing my message. So the difference between me doing this in front of thousands of people that watch my videos every day to me doing this in person in front of thousands of people, it feels like a huge difference, but it's actually very similar. It's going to be different in certain aspects. It'll be different variables. It'll be different in front of people, energetic type thing. However, I can embody it and identify it within a way to where I realize that that reality already exists, and I can give myself permission now to feel fulfilled, to feel happy. And by doing that, what I do is I resonate more with that vibrational reality and I bring it more into my experience. So let me ask you that question. What are some ways right now that the best version of you can imagine? What are some ways that you could begin to bring those characteristics of that version of you into your life now? Maybe it's a certain habit. Maybe you realize that you would read certain type of books. You would reach out to certain type of people. You would go to the kind of places that would bring more of that vibration in. That's something else I don't talk about very often, but think of everything as energy fields. Everything has a certain energy field. You know how they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you're around the most? The reason that is if you're in their energy field, that influences you even at subconscious levels. So, in the same way that people may influence in a certain level of you subconsciously influence us, we also are influenced by our environment. So if you wanted to own an art gallery studio, what you could do is you could go to an art gallery studio and get in the energy field of it and maybe talk to the owner and ask them questions about it, because then you're going to be in their energy field. Or if what you want to do is be some type of athlete, go to an actual stadium where you would love to perform one day. Get into the energy field of that place. Find out ways of vibrating, resonating with the vibration of the reality that you want to experience. Because as you embody more of those emotions, as you go to those places, you are starting to vibrate more in that vicinity. I could go to some venues and actually price out venues that I could be speaking at. I could go and talk to certain people that are already in the business and reach out to them and connect with them and start to understand that as we intermingle our thoughts, we are starting to resonate with each other in a completely new way. You see, this is all about vibrational resonance. What I'd like you to do is to let go of thinking that this has to be a hard process. Let go of thinking this is something that is complex. This is very simple. It is about vibrational resonance and the awareness that what you want to experience already exists right now in the present moment. It is simply vibrating at a different frequency. So start to embody that version of you now, and a simple way to do that is through your imagination. Imagine what you would be doing. Imagine what emotions you'd be feeling. Imagine what habits you'd have. Imagine the type of people you would talk to. And then simply make a choice that you're going to wire that into your reality now. How and what could you do to wire that in? Like I said, you could go to an art gallery studio if your goal is to own an art gallery or to have some type of exhibition you do. What you could do is start to talk and surround yourself with people that are already in the business you want to be in. As you do these little things, you start to vibrate and resonate with these realities, and it starts to become who you are. This, I believe, is much more powerful than just the stereotypical law of attraction, because with that, there's all these beliefs that come up like, I have to create my own reality, I have to do this, oh, can I let go, The version of you that is already doing exactly what you want to be doing has a certain vibrational resonance. If you match it through different ways of wiring it in right now in the present moment, you can start to then see it happen quicker than ever. As I've said before as well, normally when we think of this process, we think, when I get XYZ, then I will feel happy. When I see it, then I will believe it, and it's actually the other way around. When you choose to be happy in the present moment, when you embody the best version of you now, then you will see those experiences in your life. Then you will get the reflection that you want in your life. Then you will experience the side effect of that happiness. Things happen better when you focus more on your state of being, knowing that you can give yourself permission right now. It is really a funny idea, because I'll say to myself, I will be happy when I am doing XYZ and speaking in front of people. And I'm already speaking in front of people. but I'm telling myself I'm going to give myself, my brain will not release any serotonin and dopamine. Don't do it. Not until I achieve my goals. But the key is knowing that you can give yourself permission right now. You can give yourself permission to be happy. You can give yourself permission to embody that best version of you now. And by doing so, you will begin to resonate with the reality that you want. Give yourself permission to feel happy. Give yourself permission to feel the emotions of that version of you. Know that it already exists. You don't have to try so hard. You can begin to know that manifestation can be easier than ever. And as you begin to know this, you begin to experience this. Beliefs create our reality. Know it can believe. You don't have to believe it. Know it. It's an easy process. Whether you're aware of it or not, you are creating your own reality. What I encourage you to do is to be more aware. They call this metacognition. Become more aware of what you are thinking of, because as you become more aware, you start to take your power back. So, I hope this makes it easier for you to know that this is the easier process you could ever imagine. Another thing I'm going to be doing is more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to become a part of one of the live Q&As, you can go ahead and follow me below on Instagram. I do live Q&As there. Like I said, did I mention I do live Q&As? I also do these I do daily posts, and I also do more, starting to get into more of live meditation. So if that's something you're interested in, follow me on Instagram below. And other than that, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. Also, you got to hit that button so you see the daily vids, because that's the way YouTube does things now. And yeah, other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.